Get It show. That is my favorite show.
I love the Let's Get It show. My man Trey always putting it down. Yeah.
What's going on, y'all? This is Trey Evans back again with the commentary of the week. Yeah, we do our own ad-libs and sound effects over here. Today I wanted to talk about the debate. Well, I don't know if it is a debate, but I think it should be, or at least be acknowledged. Well, I shouldn't say be acknowledged because I have obviously read some discussions about this, but I don't think it's discussed enough. And that is acknowledging that alcohol is a drug. And when I'm talking about alcohol, I'm specifically talking about beverages that are alcohol based. So wines, beers, champagnes. How, I don't drink alcohol or liquor, however you call it. So I don't know the different variations of the names, but forgive me. But I'm talking about specifically beverages that have alcohol in it. And what made me kind of bring this commentary today was I was watching a piece on 60 Minutes, and I think it was last week or maybe the week before. Not sure. I'm not a regular TV watcher. I record a lot of things, and then when I get a moment, I'll catch up on something. So, it might have been even further than just last week. But there was a piece on 60 Minutes, and they were interviewing champagne distributors, manufacturers, however you want to classify them. And they were talking about the effects of the effects climate change has had on the champagne industry and their ability to produce champagne. And apparently, for those of you who are like myself, who are not familiar with champagne and wines and all of these different beverages, apparently some of the best champagnes in the world come from France. Actually, it's a place called Champagne, France. And apparently this area has had significant struggles with producing quality champagnes because the climate, I want to say, is either gotten warmer or they had rains. I think it rained a lot and they weren't able to grow their crop like they did, or there was frost. There was a lot going on there. But I don't want to get too deep into that. What I wanted to specifically talk about was the way that 60 Minutes had produced this piece and the way that they talked about alcohol, right? Because they interviewed several individuals, but I just remember they interviewed this one woman who was 10th generation of the vineyard that produces this champagne. And I just remember her saying, yes, I'm the 10th owner in our family. We've had this in our family since the 1700s. And it made me think and go, wow, that's the way they romanticize this drug, because that's what it is. It's a drug, right? It's a stimulant. It's a depressant. It alters moods. It alters behavior like any other drug. But they romanticize it so much, and it made me think about those who, and I may get criticized for this, but I am, for those of you who don't know, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. So I grew up in the 1980s crack era. saw it firsthand, right? It wasn't something that I had to see on a documentary. I saw it firsthand. I saw it how it ran through my neighborhood, and affected people, not only people that became users of it, but also those who began to sell it, and the destroying effects that it had on the community on both sides, users and sellers. And the reason I say that is it was a drug, just like alcohol was a drug. But the prosecution of those who sold that drug, and I'm specifically talking about those who sold the drug, in my community were all that I knew, people of color. And they were prosecuted to the fullest extents of the law, to the point where it destroyed not only the neighborhoods, it removed fathers and mothers, and you can go on down the line. And I don't want to go into into the history of it. I think everyone knows about it at this point. But it was a drug, just like alcohol is a drug. And I wonder why that drug doesn't have the same type of, and when I say the drug, alcohol, doesn't have the same type of I was going to try to say a big word, visceral reaction as crack did. And I know people are listening and saying, are you crazy? No, alcohol is an addictive drug. I know individuals, again, I only speak from firsthand experiences, that have been addicted to alcohol, and alcohol has ravaged their lives. But because it is marketed, if you will, as a recreational drug, it's not given the same type of vitriol reaction to its effects. I was, doing some research on this because I said, well, let me please talk in facts, right? I don't want to just give opinions. And I'm, just doing a basic Google search because this was really on my mind after I saw this piece on 60 Minutes. And the first thing that came up, I just put in a simple question: is alcohol a drug? And it clearly says here from the Addiction Center, alcohol is a drug. It is classified as a central nervous system depressant, which means drinking alcohol slows down brain functioning, neural activity, and further reduces the functioning of various vital functions in the body. And then I looked up crack cocaine. And I know people are listening and saying, are you losing your mind, Trey? Why are you researching these things? Because I watched this piece on 60 Minutes, just to recap briefly, and they were talking about the champagne industry and how the champagne industry was being devastated by climate control. By changes in the climate. I said climate control. I'm thinking about my car. About the climate changes. And so I was thinking, wow, they're really romanticizing alcohol. Champagne is alcohol. It's a drug. And so then I started to think about, well, cocaine was a drug too. And, why do we speak so differently about cocaine than we do alcohol when they're both drugs, right? But anyway, so I look up the definition for cocaine, or I looked up specifically crack cocaine. And it says cocaine is also a stimulant, which means that it produces a fast and intense feeling of power. Okay? It says cocaine is so addictive that someone can get hooked after trying it just once, and the user feels depressed and nervous and craves more once they come down from their high. Cocaine makes the heart beat faster, blood pressure, and body temperature can go up. It also can make the heart beat abnormally. Cocaine is dangerous that it can cause a heart attack, stroke, or even death. And so I'm sure at this point, someone is wondering, okay, well, so they're both drugs, okay, and? Well, my point is that we should be treating both of these sets of drugs in the same manner. Why is it that there's such a romanticizing factor about alcohol and also an ignoring of how addictive alcohol is? I mean, people get addicted to alcohol and they die. They get addicted to alcohol and their families are destroyed. Communities are destroyed. They lose jobs and so on and so forth. The same as any other illegal drug that is on the street and is handled by, let's say, someone who doesn't have a vineyard that goes back to the 1700s that's been in their family for, 400 years or 300 years or whatever it is, right? There's a romanticizing about alcohol and to the point where it's ignored that it's, number one, a drug, number two, it's addictive, and number three, it can leave devastating effects on individuals, families, and communities. And so with that, my comment for this week, well, I guess I'll put it in a question. Do you believe that alcohol is a drug, or you don't classify it as a drug? Leave me a comment. Drop something in the comment. Shoot me an email. I'd like to hear your opinion on this. That is my commentary of the week. My name is Trey Evans. Appreciate you listening. Salute. Let's get it.
We love the Let's Get It show. That is my favorite show.
I love the Let's Get It show. My man Trey always putting it down. Yeah.